Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Saratoga Racecourse here on Sunday. It's the 25th of August, 2024. Gonna like the stakes action here on this good Sunday program from the spa, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also join me this week for coming up for my Kentucky Downs opening preview, and also next weekend for my Pacific Classic and Del Mar previews. In general, just join me here on YouTube because we have some good racing ahead with the holiday weekend. But we're going to look at the stakes action here on Empire Showcase Day, I guess. It's the summer edition of this card. We're going to be looking at races 1, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10. So that was races 1, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10. So quite a few races to look at right now. Let's get to it right now. Starting off with the opener from Saratoga. It is the Seeking the Ante Stakes. It's going for a purse of $200,000. Race for state bred 2-year-old fillies. Field of 5 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. Gonna take the 4-horse Accelerating as the top selection. 4, 5, 1, 2 for me in the superfecta. 4, 5, 1, 2 super. Top selection of 4-horse Accelerating. This 2-year-old filly by Matoli. Steve Asmussen trains. Jose Ortiz gets to mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 26th of July at Saratoga. 6 furlongs against state breds was a success, winning by 4 1/4 lengths from the inside. It seems like the rails are paced to be going sprinting in general at Saratoga, but especially this year. He broke well on the inside, and he didn't look back, dueling on the front, and he quickened up nicely. 74 Beyer. I thought that was a very good race. Since then, he's training quite nicely here at the spa. 3/8 mile drill in 37.3 and a 5/8 mile drill at 102 flat, the 6th best workout of 23. Coming here with a very good poster, has some speed. I think this horse can get the job done. I think the 5-horse Carmen's Candy Jar also could win also for Todd and Irad. Most recently in the Schuylerville against Open Company, he finished 4th by 6.5 lengths. First time winners also. It was just wide. Moved a little bit late, but it wasn't anything spectacular. But on debut at Aqueduct, going 5/8 in a state bred main special weight in June, this horse put on a show, winning by a length, closing up from the back of the pack. I thought this horse had a very good turn of foot to win that day. Back against state bred is not the world's saltiest competition. I think this horse could pick up some pieces late at 2-1. I'm going to use him on the ticket to begin off the pick 5. But to recount my selection for the first from Saratoga now, it's a Seeking the Ante. You're going to take the 4-horse Accelerating. Give kudos to the 5-horse Carmen's Candy Jar. 4, 5, 1, 2 super. 4, 5 in the multi-race. Let's head over to race number 4 now from Saratoga, which is the West Point Handicap. It's going for a purse $200,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. State breds here. Field of 5 horses, but it's the best of the 5 state bred horses for the division going to post. The distance of ground is 1,700 meters or a mile 16th on the inner turf course. Gonna take the 4-horse here, Spirit of St. Louis. 4-2-1-5 in the superfecta. 4-2-1-5 super. Top selection 4, Spirit of St. Louis, who's I think in the last year has become the best New York bred turf horse running. I think he took the title from City Man, but City Man always has it. You know, he always runs these good races, and always he'll have a part of my heart. But Chad Brown trains one man. He's on this one. Most recently in the Hudson Valley at Aqueduct, going a mile on the 7th of July, was a success for this horse. Winning by 3 lengths from a tracking trip, he quickened up nicely and drew off clear. 50 cents to the dollar. That was a very strong run against these horses. Refreshing here today. Not the world's toughest competition. I think he could really run a good race. Basically, this race is a continuation of that Hudson Valley Stakes. The same 5 horses that are coming out of that race are running here today. You don't see that very often, but you know, he destroyed the competition that day. Prior to that, they ran him here at Saratoga during the Belmont Stakes Festival weekend. A mile in the Kingston off the turf over the Wilson Mile. He won by 5 3/4 lengths, and he has hidden dirt pedigree, you know, hidden dirt talent if you go earlier in his form cycles, but he stalked, he got the lead, and he basically won in a trot. 92 Beyer on dirt. That was quite impressive that day. And then the Danger's Hour against Open Company at Aqueduct over the mile, first off the bench. He winning by 1 3/4 lengths that day. He really won quite nicely. His races last summer weren't bad at all. He actually, one of his only defeats last year came this one last year, where he finished second behind City Man, who really just had the jump on him late, but this horse ran well behind him, then came back to win the Ashley T. Cole and won the Mohawk on a very soft turf course in late fall at Aqueduct. But refreshing here, he can win. Don't throw out the 2-horse City Man here. Like I said, he's a great horse for Christoph and Joel. You know, most recently the Hudson Valley, he just was, you know, never into it that day. You know, and also not the best rides by Joel that day, not to knock him, but it wasn't. Also off the bench, probably neither race. His Mohawk race last year wasn't bad at all. We finished second by half length, where he just closed up well. The Spirit of St. Louis just dug in late, but this horse ran well behind him. And then the Ashley Too Cold last year, the horse finished third by 1/4 lengths, where he was stupidly wide. But again, I thought he got around the race course well. He won this race quite easily last year, won the Kingston quite easily last year at Saratoga. He was a winner against Open Company at the end of 22 by winning the Fort Lauderdale coming up the rail. Not a bad horse at all. He's probably one of the best turf horses we've had here in New York in the last couple of years for this division, for the state breds. But watch out for him. It wouldn't surprise me if the old man gets a piece of it. I'll use him on the ticket. But to recount my selection for the 4th from Saratoga, it is the West Point Handicap. Gonna take the 4-horse Spirit of St. Louis. Give kudos to the 2-horse City Man. 4-2-1-5 Super. 4-2 in the multi-race. Let's get to the featured 5th race now from the Spa, which is the Albany Stakes. It's going for a purse $250,000, race for 3-year-old state breds. 6 horses are taking a stroll around the main track, which is 1,800 meters or a mile and an eighth in circumference. 1,800 meters or a mile and an eighth, right? Yeah, there we go. Lost my train of thought. I'm going to go with the 4-horse Panda Gate as top selection. We're going to go 4-5-1-6 in the superfecta. 4-5-1-6 super. Superfecta. 4-5-1-6 super here. Almost, that doesn't look like a 6. It looks like a 5, but it was a 6. But let me fix that on my side. But the top selection is the 4-horse Panda Gate. This 3-year-old originally by Arrogate here. Christoph Trends won for this one, and Dylan Davis gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in the New York Derby at the Finger Lakes, mile 16th, 15th of July. First start back from the Middle East was a success. Won by 3/4 length. He basically was a little bit wide that day, but he drew home clear late. A very strong run that day. Refreshing here back to Saratoga, second off the bench. I think he should run a strong race here today. They took the horse to the UAE Derby before that. Very impressive. Mile 3/16 at Maidan. And he finished third by 6 3/4 lengths that day. And he sat back early. He really gained a lot of ground. I thought from where he was early on, for him to get the 3rd place finish, he wasn't going to win, but I thought he ran a respectable 3rd that day, around 2 turns. And then the Gander at Aqueduct, a mile on the 25th of February. He won by 5 1/4 lengths that day, and breaking back early after not the best beginnings, he really gained a lot of ground to get the job done. He doesn't have a lot of four-wheelie pace, but he always runs these good game-up races late. Watch out for him running late. He could win. I think the 5-horse here, Liberty Central, could win also for Patrick Quick. Most recently, they ran the horse at here at Saratoga, going 6.5 in a lounge race off the bench, where he finished second by 3.5 lengths. I thought he needed the race that day. He didn't get out of the gate so clearly, and he just kind of plodded along. I thought prior to that, going a mile and optional 80 at Aqueduct, he had a decent 3rd that day, where I thought again he was gaining some ground, and then he had a decent 3rd in the behind Panda Gate in the Gander last year. Coming around 2 turns for the first time should suit him well. Hopefully being a little forwardly paced from really strong. Give him a shot here at 8-1 on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the 5th from Saratoga, it's the Albany Stakes. Going to take the 4-horse Panda Gate. Give kudos to the 5-horse Liberty Central. 4-5-1-6 Super. 4-5 in the multi-race. So we're going to head over to race number 8 now from Saratoga, which is the Fleet Indian Stakes, going for a purse $200,000, race for 3-year-old filly state breds. Field of 9 horses, going 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 on the main track. Gonna take the 4-horse Dolomite as a top selection. 4-2-7-9 for me in the superfecta. 4-2-7-9 super. Top selection 4-horse Dolomite. This 3-year-old filly by United here, Unified here. Chad Brown trains. Manny Franco picks up the mount. The horse's most recent outing, first off the 7-month bench, came on the 25th of July here at Saratoga. 3/4 in the State Bred Allowance race. Was a success for this horse, won by 3 1/4 lengths, basically from a tracking trip. He really took off clear, quickened up nicely, and he got the job done. Very good, strong run. Coming here back around 2 turns, second off the bench should be a lot fresher. Chad Brown has great numbers, sprint to route 28% with these kind of horses. I think this horse could really, improve to get the job done here today. Ran 2 back in the Demoiselle at Aqueduct in the mud, mile and 8th, 2nd of December, and he finished 3rd by 4 3/4 lengths that day, and he just sat back early. He moved a little bit late, but it just wasn't anything spectacular. The speed was really holding up that day. And then the main specialway at Aqueduct, going 7 on the 27th of October, won by 6 1/4 lengths, really closed up well from mid-pack, a very strong run. Even on debut behind my main squeeze, here last September, This horse had a horrible trip down the backstretch, but again was gaining a lot late. Training well coming into this one. Back around 2 turns, she could win. I think the 2-horse Landed for Wesley and Johnny V could win also. Was a winner of the Bowery here at Saratoga, going 7 on the mud back in June quite easily by 1 1/4 lengths, going away with it from a tracking trip. Prior to that, the only time around 2 turns at Keelan, a mile 16th and optional 100 against Open Company, win by 1 3/4 lengths, was setting some good fraction on the front end. 145 and 4 to the kind of walked home to 145 and 4 late, but it was still a very good strong run. Refreshing here with a good post draw. It wouldn't surprise me if this horse wins. I'll use her in the late pick 4 that begins with this race. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Saratoga, it's Fleet Indian. Going to take the 4-horse Dolomite. Give kudos to the 2-horse Landed. 4-2-7-9 Super. 4-2 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 9th race now from Saratoga, which is the Funny Cide Stakes. It's going for a purse $200,000. Race for state-bred 2-year-olds here. Field of 10 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs on the main track. I'm going to go with the 7-horse Under Whose Radar is the top selection. 7-10-1-8 in the superfecta. 7-10-1-8 Super. Top selection 7-horse Under Whose Radar. This Turtle Colt by Violence. Mike Maker trains. Jose Ortiz picks up the mount. The horse's most recent outing came in on the 19th of July at Saratoga. 5.5 in the state-bred main special weight was a success from the rail, where speed is really killer here at Saratoga this season on the dirt. He won by 3.5 lengths and basically broke on top, and he did everything right. 104 and 3, kind of went a little bit slow late to the final 8th of mile, but he still really got the job done quite easily. I thought it was a very good run. He's up in competition here today, but he's training well. I'm going to give this horse a shot on the ticket. I think he's, with that 81 buy where he showed a lot, I think that could win here. I think the 10-horse Moplex for Jeremiah Engelhart and Irad is your second likeliest winner. On debut going at Aqueduct, going 5.5 in June. This horse put on a show, winning by nearly a dozen lengths that day. 10 if you want to be exact. This horse was on the pace, driving to the wire. 67 buyer, quite a nice run. Against Open Company last time out in the Sanford, the horse won by a length, and again, this horse really put on a show on the front end. From wide poster, they're probably going to send to get good position. She's been training well since the Sanford Stakes. I'm going to give him a shot here on the ticket at 5-2. He could definitely win. I think you can go a few waves with this one. It wouldn't surprise me if the 1-horse Smile and Say Cheese for Mike Maker and Luis wins also. Has a very good debut victory, even after not the best beginnings. Has a very good rail poster, which has been killer here. He could win. I think the 8-horse and the Chase could win also for for Carlos Davis and Manny Franco. The debut victory here wasn't bad at all. Even the 6-horse Bostonian for Wesley and Frankie. The race at Churchill wasn't bad at all. Turf workouts haven't been half bad. Like I said, this is the kind of race in the late pick 4. I think you want to go a few layers deep, because a lot of horses have a chance in this one. If you could all it, because it wouldn't surprise me if you have a horse that's going to win this at a nice dollar. But to recap my selection for the 9th from Saratoga now, it is the Funny Cide Stakes. Going to take the 7-horse Under Whose Radar, 7-10-1-8 Super. We'll use all 4 of them and plus more in the late pick 4. But let's get to the 10th race now from Saratoga, which is a good, very competitive handicap. This 10th race, it is Yaddo Handicap. It's going for a purse of $200,000. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. Fillies and mares, which are state breds. Field of 9 horses going 1,700 meters or mile 16th on the Mellon Turf course. I'm going to take the 9-horse Marvelous Maud as a top selection. 9-4-5-1 for me in the superfecta. 9-4-5-1 super. Top selection 9-horse Marvelous Maud. This 6-year-old mare by Slumber. Chad Brown trains. Irad gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came closing day at Aqueduct, mile 16th in the Port Washington, and the horse finished 3rd by 9 lengths that day. And he just sat back early, moved a little bit wide lane. The winner had the jump on this horse, but off the 2.5-month refreshing, maybe she needed the race. Also, it's a very warm day, so maybe she just was handling the weather. It's going to be a little cooler up north today. Hopefully from wide poster, she'll find a better trip and pace into it. If she finds a pace to win, she could win. She ran against Open Company in the Plenty of Grace at Aqueduct prior to that over the mile on the inner. She finished 3rd by 10 lengths that day, and she was just wide and just flat that day. Again, maybe need the race, but her form before then, the Mount Vernon, wasn't bad at all. That at Belmont, going a mile on the Widener, winning by a nose, tracking the trip quite easily down the race course, quickened up nicely. I thought that was a very good, strong run for it being the horses only started 23. And then if you look at the form in 22, had a very good 4th in Ticonderoga, very good place in the heading gear, and then ran in the against Virginia Joy and War Like Goddess in the Flower Bowl here in the summer of 2022, where she finished 6 by 5.25 lengths, never really showing up. But her races before that on this turf course weren't bad at all. Won a very nice allowance race here in the summer of 22. Back here, quick turnaround from the last race. Been running these decent buyers in the past that can win here. At 8-1, I think this horse could live up to the hype. I think the 4-horse What Love Looks Like for Todd and Dylan here can win also. Very weird combination for Todd and Dylan. They don't really ride together a lot, it seems, especially at Saratoga. But this horse most recently hasn't been seen since the Long Island Stakes at Aqueduct, mouth rates in November, where he finished 4th by 4.75 lengths. R. Kelly Kim really took off clear. And Rumbeek was the next star winner. This horse just kind of stalked, had a lead, then just kind of yielded late. Stepping up in class. I thought it was a good opportunity, but she just wasn't keeping up there. Prior to the heading her at Aqueduct, going a mile late in the fall, she finished third by length, where she just kind of got caught late, but she ran her heart out. And then last year's Yaddo, she just had a wide trip, which cost her, but she won the Port Washington last year, won around 3 turns here in over a mile 3/8 against Open Company last summer. I'm going to give her a shot. She's running good races that could win here in this very wide open Yaddo. But to recap my selection for this 10th from Saratoga now, it is Yaddo Handicap. Going to take the 9 horse, Marvelous Mod. Give kudos to the 4 horse, What Love Looks Like. 9-4-5-1 Super, 9-4 in the multi-race. With that being said, good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.